Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to TGIM, the Jersey Baseball Show, our look each week at some of the great baseball figures and stories in New Jersey. We've got a great guest today, Jim Maher, the longtime coach in Mercer County. He's done it all. He's coached high school, he's coached travel, he's coached at the college level. He led the Generals to a championship, which puts him high on our list, obviously. And welcome to the show, Jim. Let's talk some of that and some Centercourt baseball.
Sounds good, Mike. Great to be here.
Absolutely. Let's we'll start by talking about your new role with Centercourt. You know, tell us what you're doing as kind of the director of baseball operations, really there. We'll talk about the great facility there over in Lawrence, where you're doing most of your work out of. But you know, that kind of started a new chapter for you, I guess, in the fall of in the COVID year 2020. But let's start with there and what's going on at Centercourt.
Yeah, well, it's funny, Mike. I had my last year I was coaching Nottingham and I was contemplating retiring. And I had interviewed for the Cumberland County job, and they had offered it to me. And I initially accepted it. And then I had like about 7 nights to sleep where I kept thinking, how am I going to make this drive every day?
Yeah.
How am I going to do this?
Great.
You know, and
awful drive.
Yeah. And people were telling me, some people were saying, Jim, take a chance at it. Others are telling me, you can't do it. It's impossible. So after about 7 days of contemplating and already at stepping down at Nottingham, I just told them I couldn't do it. And when COVID hit, I wind up retiring from teaching. And Mike Petrowski actually is the one that really helped me with this. His fiance was working field hockey there. And Mike had asked our CFO, Matt Rizzuto, man, how come you don't have baseball here? And Mike said, I got a guy that you would love and would do a great job here. And he called me. We sat down and talked one day in September. And said, you know, I love he's a baseball guy playing at Gardner Webb. And they had baseball at a couple of the North Jersey facilities. Namely Mount Olive and Morristown and Gillette. And it just kind of took off from there.
So Centercourt, for those people who don't know, there's 8 facilities throughout the state, right? Mostly north of the Lawrence facility. I think Lawrence is the most south. I guess there's one over in down in Marlboro too.
Correct.
Yeah, but everything is up north. Tell us about the site over in Lawrence, because the site over on Spruce Street it's a bubble. And you walk in there and it's really just the most like jaw-dropping, like eye-opening indoor turf site in New Jersey. You know, it's just still, like I said, it's still mind-blowing to me. But let's talk about the site there.
Yeah, it's incredible. I agree. The first time I walked in there and I said, wow. And I didn't even know it existed. You know, I had been there 4 or 5 years. I had no idea. So, you know, you walk in there, it's crazy. And, you know, it's actually so big that on March 6th and March 13th, we're running indoor tournaments here, a 10-11U baseball tournament and a 14 under girls softball. And we can play 2 games at once, fairly normal 200-foot fences. So if that gives you an indication, if you haven't seen it, that's how big it is.
Yep, 150-foot ceiling, 100,000 feet of field house space, full-length ninja course, batting cages, all under one roof. It's you know, it's insane. So let's you know, you mentioned the biggest problem was just name recognition, right? I mean, this gigantic site, this gigantic great turf facility had been around for a few years and nobody really knew. You know, what have we done over the last year and a half? Let's talk about some of the great things that are going on there right now.
Yeah, I mean, basically I was brought in to just basically use my contacts that I've developed over, you know, 30 plus years of coaching at every level and people that I trust and I respect. And so we started a high school training after school, which we now have 8 teams doing. And that really works out well because most of the time from 3 to 4:30, there's not many people in there. A lot of our programs start at 5. So they're able to like take in legit infield, outfield, long toss, along with all our other things. And then we're training like 10 youth teams, a lot of teams from Hopewell, a lot of teams from Sam Park, a couple of Allentown teams. And then we do our normal, hitting class, catching classes, pitching classes, infield, outfield, along with our Makos team training, which we have like 7 teams right now. And so, you come in there after 5 o'clock, Monday through Friday, it's a nut house. You have baseball on 1/3 of the turf. You have lacrosse going in the middle. You got field hockey and soccer on the other one. So it's crazy, so, yeah, baseball, we've really taken off. We trained probably close to 300 kids this year with all our training. We brought in John and Johnny Reyna with the Makos organization, which I thought was very important to do. I thought it would be very difficult to just start teams from scratch. I don't know what you're going to get. So we sat down with 3 or 4 organizations and was very impressed with John and Johnny and brought them in with their Makos group. And to be honest with you, right now, we really are trying to ticket some of these younger groups that are kind of independent and bring them under our umbrella with like now having 7, 8s, 9s, 10s is our main goal, what we want to do right now.
Long-term growth, right? That's the best way to have long-term success is
100%.
to build the foundation.
100%. We were lucky too. Like we now, I was able to convince Mike Rogers to come with us in the beginning, which is huge. Mike does some pitching stuff for me. He does some spring training camps and winter clinics. And in fact, he's doing one that starts first week of March, kind of like get ready for the season. But his 11-year-old group is #1 in the state right now. So he came with us, which was big. And obviously adding Dave now, having Dave Gallagher with us is, that's about as good as it gets.
You've also got some great names. You mentioned a bunch of them, but statewide, Eddie Maher is doing a great job with the Marlboro and Lou Clemente up in North Jersey. Is that really the best thing you think Centercourt has to offer is just the quality of people involved?
Yeah, well, I think it's a lot of things. I think one, obviously facilities, which is no question. I think 2 is our instructors and our what we have there is we have some very good people. Lou's a former player at Rutgers, coaches at Governor Livingston. Eddie's got to, start back around and helping out in high school. And I think he worked for Scanzano for some time period. They also have Rich Saeda involved with them, who's played at Rutgers. Then we have like Andrew Scepter and Ben Kennedy and Kenny Ridge. We have Kyle Stonevick from Princeton now with us. So we have good people, which is very important. Frank Lavero from Hopewell. I don't want to miss anybody. But not only that, but I also think with me and Dave and John Reyna, we can be totally honest with where your son, when he gets to be 14, 15, 16, 17, and you're looking for that college experience, where we think you fit. We have our live stream events and showcases where we can get involved with the recruiting process and because we've done it for so long. And we know a lot of people, and we can be honest with guys. Hey, you're not a Vanderbilt player, but you might be able to play and be a great player at Rowan, which is fine. I mean, both of my kids played at very good Division III programs, and it was tremendous. So I think that's a big benefit we have for our older kids. What a lot of people don't have is years of experience of placing kids at the next level.
And location, and I think it's something you've grown to appreciate through the years too. There's so many great programs locally at so many different levels. It's not like, well, if I'm not a D1 player, I've got to leave the area, or if I am a D1 player, I can stay in the area. And you look at the NJAC schools, which have so many great programs, and you look at the JUCO schools in New Jersey that have so many great programs in different parts of the state. It just seems like there, you know, there should be a way to do, it's such a great area for prospects. If they're honest with themselves, if they get the right instruction, the right coaching, and I think that's just something that New Jersey has that's a lot of states don't.
Yeah. Oh no, without question. I mean, the NJAC is probably the best, Division III school conference in the country. I mean, how many teams you have that have been to the World Series? Or Keene, Montclair, William Patterson, Rowan, TCNJ, Ramapo.
Yeah.
They've all been to the College World Series. So, and you have right over to the bridge in Pennsylvania, you have a lot of great D3 and D2 programs. Like you said, the JUCO is a great avenue. I mean, me and Dave, that's the route we took. I mean, we both, Dave's told you, I told you, we both weren't great students. Baseball was our number one passion. School was, I don't even know, it was second. So the JUCO was a great, I wasn't mature enough to go away. I had some opportunities, but was not mature enough to go to anywhere. And other than a JUCO and at Mercer. And, you look at Dave, will end up being a number one draft pick. I want to get a scholarship to Barton in North Carolina. So yeah, the JUCO is a great. Also, you save you some money. So you're not coming out with debt for 4 years of college. So there's a lot of benefit, and we got some great JUCOs in this area.
Yep. This sort of leads into what's coming up this Saturday, March 5th. Another showcase event, and I think these sort of events have, since COVID, have really taken off, and I think there's such a huge market for doing them the right way. You've got a showcase with BFA Sports, who are the best videographers that I've seen that do this in the business, so you get value on that end. But let's talk about what you've got coming up this Saturday, March 5th, at Centercourt at starting at 5:00, I believe, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's funny. I didn't even realize they did this. And this was Dave that kind of had introduced this to us at Centercourt, because he had done it when he was at Sportica. We had done last summer, we did a showcase where we had, probably 20 some college coaches there that we paid to work. And we probably had 50 kids. And it was a good start for us, never doing it before. And then when Dave came aboard, he mentioned, his history with BFA and these live stream events now where you didn't need coaches there. And these kids have the ability to send it to any college coach they want. There's like 500 coaches that are enrolled in this program. So I said, wow, that's, a great opportunity for anybody. And like, we had talked earlier, Mike, this is really not a thing for the kids who are committed, who are the elite prospects. These those kids are like borderline D1 down to D2, D3, and JUCOs that, maybe don't have a coach that has a lot of contacts and is able to help them, be recruited. So yeah, this is a great avenue. And, we hope to do a couple of these a year, if not more. We've got about 38 kids signed up now. We'd like to get, somewhere between 50 and 60. And, we have all the measurables with the Rapsodo, with, exit velocity and throwing velocity. And it'll be like a typical, outdoor workout, ground balls, outfielder throwing from the outfield, catchers getting time, second and third, live hitting, pitchers throwing. So yeah, we're really excited about it. And, like the special thing about it is you can take it and send it to anybody you want at any time because it's an archived event. So, yeah, it'd be crazy. Anybody that doesn't really know where they're going to school is still kind of looking, not to do something, I guess.
And two things that I think stand out that make it a bit unique. I think the price point is better than a lot of those kind of, big name places that are going to charge you, $400 or $500 plus. You have to pay to have a profile to be able to send your video somewhere. It's kind of all inclusive at a better price point. And I think really focused and a good, the kid that's not going to a national D1 school shouldn't be paying $500 for a showcase, right? It doesn't seem to make sense. The second thing, I guess, is Now Dave will be on the live stream, right? So I mean, I think that's a pretty cool thing to have the perspective of a guy who's, 17-year pro ball player, 8-9 years in the majors, still highly active in MLB PA stuff, to add that perspective to the commentary.
Oh yeah, 100%. And we'll also have John Reyna do it with his kids. Yep. And then we've started to get Dave Dominici's group, O-Net, worked out in our place. So they've gotten about 6 or 7 kids signed up, and I'm going to allow Dave to come in and talk about his guys because he knows them better than any of us.
Right.
And, we would encourage any organization. Let's say we got, 20 kids from an organization. We'd allow their coach to come in and talk about them because he knows them the best. So I think that's another avenue we have. But, you have Dave evaluating, you have John. There'll be somebody there talking about each particular kid that worked out there, which is, it's a great concept.
Absolutely. So we certainly want to, and that's a great event. And where can we send people to if they want to sign up? Where's the best place to go to do that, to register?
Yeah, they can go to Centercourt and then go to Centercourt Lawrence Baseball. And under spring, or actually, no, it's still listed under winter activities. And they can register right there online. They can register as a pitcher only, position player only, or a two-way player. And everything, you can do it right there online. The waiver will be filled out, and you'll go right on our list and be ready to go.
Be ready to go just before the pitchers and catchers on March 8th, right? We get
great workout before the season starts.
That's right. So that does bring me to the next kind of topic here: pitchers and catchers for high school starting March 8th. You obviously longtime high school coach. Florence going way back, but certainly 20, just short of maybe 25 years in the county. Starting at Hamilton, winning the state title at Hamilton in 2000. Taking a little bit of time off to not really time off, but to go coach with Barry Davis over at Ryder. NCAA tournament experience there. The trip before this most recent one, right, 2010, and then back at Nottingham, where you build a program that wins a sectional title. Does the high school coach in you kind of wish you had something like this to handle winter stuff back in the day?
Oh gosh, this is incredible. I would have loved to have had my team working out here. I'm trying to think the things we used to do. We used to go hit at Homedale School. We used to go hit at Little Lads. Sunnybrook. I think Steiner used to hit at Nottingham Little League. Yes, to have this. We had so many players back then, especially when I was at West. You had 50, 60, 70 kids tried out for baseball back in those days. So, yeah, this would have been, I'd love to have had this back when I coached.
Favorite memories of the high school years? We'll let you just kind of go in any order you want. We don't have to rank them or anything like that because we don't want to make anybody unhappy. But just to you win a state title as a player at Steiner, and then to have success at the other schools in the township. Obviously, Hamilton Township baseball means such a great deal to you. That's something you look back on now with some time to kind of put it all into perspective and just think the success at all 3 township schools is something that will always stand out to you.
Oh yeah, I got to go back to as a kid. I was very lucky as a kid, and Dave would tell you the same. We were lucky. We played with Chris Pataro, so Sonny would come in every now and then. We played for Ricky Giolella and Rick and Kenny Freeman. I had Clark Perry and Babe Ruth. I had Don Morgan in Little League. Kenny Ruba in high school. So we had, Butch Miller at the junior college rank. So I had good people that taught me as a young kid. And I kind of took probably a little bit from each one. But it was cool to come back and coach in my town. I lived here my whole life. I went to college in Barton, was there for 4 years, married my wife, and we came back here. And I built a house next to where Tommy Fink and me used to be inseparable. Time we were between 8 and 15, and I'm like 100 feet from where I grew up. So yeah, it's I always wanted. I always wanted to coach, and and the only thing I feel like I kind of didn't do in my career was become a college head coach. I became I got in the final 2 for Barton. I got in the final 2 for Stockton. I got in the final 3 for Virginia Wesleyan. I was offered Mercer in '99, but knew I had Hoey coming back. I didn't make the jump. And then obviously being offered the Cumberland job. But just getting back to my high school days, yeah, some great memories. I love my time in Florence. There was nothing like that town. I was there in the heyday, and just those people lived for high school sports. I can remember opening day baseball practice, be 100 people watching high school baseball practice.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great town. A lot of those guys I'm still close with. The Danglers, Darren Koch, Stevie Hobart. I still talk to a lot of those guys. And obviously memories at Hamilton West. Obviously the 2000 state championship is probably my greatest memory. Because we had been so close. 96, 97, 98, 2000, even my last 3 years at Florence, I think my teams have gone to like 7 sectional finals in like 10 years. And, to finally get over the hump, so that's obviously a special one. My first year in West 96, we started off 19-1, won 19 out of our first 20 games, and wound up losing twice to Steiner, once in the county final and once in the state final. Once in the Central Jersey sectional. And then obviously Nottingham, to go there, when I got there, the program was in bad shape. And I was very fortunate to go in there and have Nick Houghton, Bryce Fremgen, Tommy McFarland, Ronnie Vacuolo, Sean McGeehan, David Scott, Mike Suso, Joe Gary. We had some young kids that could really play. And I told D and I told Mike Gamble, look, I'm going to play them right away. So you got to back me. And, the second year we wound up winning a sectional state title. And it's funny. I think the next year we were better when we wind up losing to Allentown 7-6 in 10 innings. And then Allentown coasted.
Yep.
After that. And that is probably the most heartfelt loss I have ever had in my career.
Yeah, when you have a team that's good enough to win the state.
And we had 2 pitchers with Vacuolo and Houghton.
Yeah.
And we had leads and we couldn't hold them. And we scored 2 in the top of the 10th and they scored 3 in the bottom of the 10th.
Yeah.
So, but all of them were great places to be. And I'll be honest with you, all of them had similar type kids. Middle class, hard-nosed type of kids for the most part.
Play.
Yep. 100%.
Then we throw in, like I said, the Legion experience, right? We're going back a few years for the Legion experience. That was pre Hamilton West days, right? Yeah. Down with the Burlington Legion post, right?
Well, I started off in Bordentown in 1986.
Early, that's right.
That was my first team, and we won the league. That was the first time Bordentown had ever won the league. We ended up in a 3-way tie. And this is before cell phones. Funny story. We win, and we need Princeton to beat. I'm trying to think. It's a 3-way tie. It was us, Hamilton, and Princeton. We needed Princeton to lose.
This was Princeton. This was Princeton, which became West Windsor, right? Not Princeton.
Correct.
Okay.
And they were loaded. They had Rumor. They had Arendis. They had Villani. What a team they had. And Jim Geraci, who's my assistant, goes to watch Princeton play. And there's no cell phones. So we're at Bordentown. We win, and we have to wait for Geraci to get back from Princeton in a parking lot. It's pitch dark. It's probably 9 o'clock at night. He comes in beeping the horn. So we got the bye because we had swept 31 that year. And I think we maybe went 1-2 against Princeton. So 31 beat Princeton. And then we beat 31. Darren Koch. I had Darren Koch, and Santo Porto beat Brayak. And 2-1, and we won the championship the first year.
is it when you look at Legion now, is it sad in a way to know what it was?
Like not only that, but the little league Babe Ruth. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, you know me, I coached at all three. You know, played in regionals and you know World Series and Babe Ruth, and you know, it was 2 games from Williamsport, coaching my son's little league team.
Mm-hmm.
I was such a believer in playing for your hometown. You know, you know, like when I first, to be honest with you, my son really didn't start playing travel ball until he was, I think, his junior or senior year with Dave. And I was always a big believer, you know, play travel ball in the fall, you know, and then play your local leagues, you know, play Legion, play Babe Ruth, play Little League in the summer, in the spring. And it's a shame because I loved it. You know, there was just something about, you know, wearing the Nottingham uniform or a post 31 uniform for me as a kid. And, you know, for my son also, to be honest with you, he never really went through playing the showcase stuff in the spring. So, and I understand they're you know, because I'm part of that now, as is Dave. It's times have changed. I wish there was a way we could find to keep it all intact, you know, to keep Legion strong. And I can remember back when it used to be like 250 teams in New Jersey, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
In New Jersey, Legion.
Just in New Jersey, yeah. There's like 30.
Yeah. So yeah, and I miss that without question.
Yeah, I think there's just something about the rivalries and the friendships and the enemies on the field, but really your friends that you develop within other teams and areas in the county.
Oh, Mike, we still joke about it when I go to, you know, the Hibernians, you know, Nottingham Little against Chambersburg, where Freddie Fauci, Freddie York, and Jeff Migliacci. I mean, we hated them guys. Yeah. For the time they were 10 or 11, till they were 15, they went to Trenton, Babe Ruth, and the Trost in 31. We couldn't stand them guys. You know, now we joke about it, we laugh about it, but you know,
realize after time it's just on the field, and then after that,
it's just, you know, they were like our bitter rivals growing up. You know, there was nothing like going to Chambersburg Little League and playing there and having 40-year-old men cuss you out. You know, there was nothing like going to that place. So yeah, I miss it. Those days were fun.
Yeah. Are we at the point now where one of the things that we're looking at, and you know, I would think you can get a full appreciation of is, you know, seeing your son Matt be such a good coach at the different places where he has, you know, he's done the college summer circuit. He's, you know, certainly done a great job in keeping the North Hamilton Legion program afloat, and, you know, doing, you know, exceeding expectations based on who he's had, you know, every year, I think. And you know, guys like Mikey Mosseri, you know, who you're helping at Hamilton, at West, who was such a great player for you, had such a great college career, Keene, and is now, you know, doing a great job as a high school coach. You know, one of the better, you know, one of the better ones in the area, in the region. Those kind of things more special to you now than, you know, now that you kind of I would say taking a step back, but you can kind of see, you know, the big picture a little bit more outside of, you know, just your team.
Yeah, without question, Mike. You know, I'm proud of, you know, my daughter too. My daughter went into coaching. She's, you know, coaching soccer and lacrosse. So yeah, Matt, it's a shame with Maddie's job now. It's going to be probably difficult for him to coach much anymore, although he's going to help us a little bit out, Mako's. But yeah, I was real proud of what he did. You know, Mark Pensack, Tommy Bertel, Andy Estrada. You know, I'm just trying to think of guys. Mike Oliver at Bordentown. You know, Eric Woodrow, who coached the TCNJ for a while. There's so many guys. Dennis Alexander, who did some coaching with basketball. You know, so many guys that I've coached that went into the coaching profession. Cesar Parita, you know, there's one of my first. You know, down at Florence, you know. So you know, Danny Dengler, who coached at Holy Cross. If I think about it, I can go on and on about you know, guys that played for me and went into coaching. So yeah, that means a lot to you. I mean, you know, when they do well, without question. Yeah, that's proud. That's a proud moment.
Absolutely. Favorite moment on the field? Yeah, because it's such a wide span of, coaching little league teams to coaching college teams and everything in between. Were there one or two? One might be impossible, but a couple that stand out when you go across all those different levels.
Yeah, I would say there's probably 3 or 4. One would be when we won the state championship in Little League with my son. It is hard to top that.
Yeah.
Knowing that we were going to go to Bristol and winning a state championship in Little League was one. Obviously, the 2000 state championship team in Hamilton West, guys who I still talk to all the time, Genesio and Nicky Massari and Howie, and Matty Genesio, another one went into coaching. The Bertel brothers.
Yeah.
I think that the 2006 World Championship game against California, Babe Ruth, was an unbelievable experience. I mean, I looked around and there's like 6,000 people there, and we rallied in the 7th inning to cut it to 7-6. It was so loud in there. And then probably lastly, what we did at Nottingham, that year winning that sectional title, within our second year. So there's a lot of great moments.
Absolutely. No, it's great looking back with you, Jim. Certainly always fun to do that. Excited about what's coming up at Centercourt. We hope all our uncommitted guys watching get on that Centercourt showcase on March 5th, and best of luck with everything.
Thank you, Mike, and hopefully you're going to be a big part with us. We're hoping.